record. All right, so let's start in a seat anyways. We are going to have a nice calming practice. Even though yin is calming, you know, your props you might need, I've got a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can roll up a towel or two. If you don't have a block, you can use a pillow. I've got a belt here. We will use our belt today. So if you don't have a belt, maybe grab like the belt of your wardrobe. And then you can put play on your playlist already. And come into a seated position. And you know, you could actually start the yin practice in any way you want. You could do it lying down. But the fact that we start our practices kind of always in a seat, it's like repetition is a matter of skills, and it helps your body and your mind to go, okay, we have now arrived on our mats. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do yoga. We're going to focus on our breath. So that's why I kind of always like to start in this meditative seat, also allowing you to switch from doing to being. So maybe feel a little bit like, woof, what a transition from talking and laughing and working and being busy. And maybe even I feel my breath is quite, not out of breath, but a little bit sparse. So let's start to notice the subtle differences. Close your eyes. And then just notice the stillness. Notice the stillness in your physical body. Notice the stillness of the sounds. Start to listen and pay attention to really small sounds in your space. You maybe start to hear things you were not hearing before. And start to notice the sound of your own breath. By slowing down and deepening your breath, it also kind of feels like stillness, even though there is movement, but it's calm movement. Not a rough sea, but a nice, flat kind of image of the ocean comes up in my mind when I think of stillness, or the deserts, or even the Kruger. And through these yin practices, we can cultivate that energy for ourselves, in our body, in our mind, and in our heart, and in our respiratory system. We'll stay completely still for another minute. And then slowly open your eyes. You know how much I love to set intentions for practices, whether they come through me or whether they have come through you, where you suggested something. And I bought these angel cards, which I've been using on my holiday in the Peru. And you don't have to believe in angels. Whether you believe that, you know, the angel has picked a card for you, or whether it's just a card that makes you think and makes you like, oh, what does it mean? So I'd like to share the card that I picked this morning. Well, we are going to be lying on our back. So you can lie on your back now and put the bolster under your spine if you have one. You can also do this without. In a lengthwise direction, soles of the feet touching. And then just kind of bring it close to your bum, even tuck it a little under your bum. And then you can choose to have the palms facing up, or if it's okay, the arms are next to you, but somewhere where they're not floating, somewhere where they can touch, where they're lying on the floor, where it pulls a little bit more into your armpits, into the lymph nuts and the lymph. Here in your armpit and your groin, you can have places where lymph just doesn't flush. Nice. Are you okay, Ingo? Well, it's maybe the internet, otherwise switch off your camera. Okay, cool. So while you lie there, let your breath be your priority. And let me just share this lovely card. I'll do it regularly. You might have your own intention for this week and this practice, or maybe this will bring some interesting thoughts or feelings, whether it's just a card of inspiration or not, or where you feel it's the angels that send it to you. Doesn't really matter. It's just a lovely piece of wisdom. So be discerning. The key words are discernment, understanding, and wisdom. The angel is Pistis Sophia, the angel of wisdom. It is easy to get caught up in life and simply follow the crowd. But what makes you unique are the choices you make along the way and each action you take. Making discerning choices is important for you to fully align to the type of life you wish to live. Get to know what is important in your life, in not only the bigger things, but also the small things. And before making choices, ask yourself where you stand on an issue or what is important to you. Be careful though, not to confuse being discerning with being judgmental. The angel of wisdom helps you discern real truth from perceived truth, the genuine from the superficial. She helps you find the wisdom to act upon the situation wisely and with confidence. A question you may ask yourself is, do you simply go along with what everyone else says or believes? And are you open to and seek out the truth in all situations? You can also tell yourself like a mantra, I am open to learning and knowing the truth in all things. I make choices based on wisdom and discernment. If a certain card, when I share them, I'll share them regularly, really resonates, feel free to send me a WhatsApp and go like, hey, can you take a picture of that one? I want to read that again or reflect on it a little bit more. Always welcome to ask me. We've got 2 more minutes here, so maybe just close your eyes if you haven't done so. And pay attention again to the breath. We'll stay still until the end of our first shake here. The sigh is always welcome. An exhale that is longer than your inhale is welcome. Stay with the breath. Around 4 more rounds of breath, nice and slow, nice and deep. Include belly breathing if you can, so that the breath travel to the chest, to the belly. Let the belly button rise and fall, diaphragmatical breathing, very good for your central nervous system. And then slowly roll off your bolster, gently just pick a side and roll onto that side. Ooh, that's my COVID vaccination arm. Luckily, it's not too sore yet. I'll let you know how I feel tomorrow. Apparently, the worst is at like 24 hours and then it's all downhill. From here, we will come into a wide-legged position. So remember that if you have, people can have like a really straight spine, almost like a really hollow lower back, or you can feel that you're like, how do these people sit upright? Like, I feel that I'm rounding. If you feel like, oh, I'm really rounding, it's difficult, I'm kind of stuck. And then use your block and you put that under your buttocks. And that little bit, when in doubt, go a little bit higher. Removing the flesh of your sit bones, so literally pulling your bum backwards. Also, tilt your pelvis a little forward. Just make sure that you're not hanging in the knees. So if you are here and you want to maybe potentially, if this is wide enough, put something under the knees, then that's also fine. If you have 2 things, you can put 2 pillows, one on each side. Even a block can help there. Specifically, if you have overextension, remember, when we stretch, we don't want to feel the stretch in the attachment point. So this muscle, the hamstring, is attached from the knee here to the let's say the sit bone. Let's make it easy. And then the calf is here from the Achilles also to the knee. So you want to feel most sensations in what we call the bulk of the muscle. So the bulk of the muscle is the red tissue. The attachment points we call white tissue of the muscles. So specifically if you're up high and you feel a lot of pressure behind the knees, just be gentle or arrange yourself differently. Good. And then we try to lengthen the spine. Maybe close your eyes. My watch wasn't charged today, so I'll work with a little timer. And then start to lean forward. But as soon as you feel that your spine starts to round, stop or pull back a little bit. So let your shoulders drop away from the ears. Try to stay upright. So if you would draw a line from the sit bones, the tailbone, the spine, the neck, where the spine connects to the skull, it's quite a straight line. You might need something under your hands just to support yourself. And then while you sit there with your eyes closed, pay attention again to the breath and notice where you feel what. Some people feel this very strongly in the back of the legs. Are you feeling it in the insertion points, or are you feeling it in the main muscles, a little bit everywhere? Can you maybe change it in a way that it is strongest in the main part of the muscle? Or maybe you feel this in your hips or your lower back. We're all different. Interesting of that card, the sentence that stuck with me really is that subtle difference. It's such a fine line between discerning and judgment. It's like, that's philosophy again. Like, you know, you can be discerning in your own truth, but it doesn't mean that that is also someone else's truth. And can we just leave each to its own? It's a sentence that has been really actually stuck to me specifically because we were on holiday with 3 teenagers, with Nadia, our lovely yogi from this community as well. And you know, each to its own. The one likes the one thing, the other likes the other thing, and they're still kids figuring out who they are and what they like and what they don't like. And you know, at that age, it's kind of confusing. But even when you're adult, there are things that I used to say that I now disagree with. So, you know, this is the truth at what you, based on what you know and based on what you've experienced. And other people have know different things and have experienced different things. So yes, we can be discerning, and this is my truth, but I also respect your truth, and I don't judge you for it. So it's actually a beautiful dance. If you now want to come forward and let your chest rest on something, you may. It's a little bit more relaxing for your shoulders, or you can stay upright. A little harder to breathe here because my tummy is on the bolster, but that's all right. I can breathe more into the sides of the body, more into between the shoulder blades. Can you soften the jaw? Have the sensations wherever it is strongest change. Intensify, soften, stay in the body. And if you feel that the mind starts to wander, just come back to your breath. Four more rounds of breath here. And then slowly roll up. Woo. I can feel my body needs it. Hands can come behind the knees. Slide the legs a little closer. And then I always like to just give it a little bit of a shake. I'm actually not gonna go, doesn't matter. Give it a little bit of a shake. So shake the meat, shake the meat. I was just realizing that if I end up going to Bali, I will definitely be able to teach you the 7 o'clocks. Because we're, I think 6 or 8 hours ahead there. I'm getting excited. Obviously on my mind. The 5 o'clock would be 11 o'clock in the evening. A little bit late. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Let's first see if I get there. Okay, 1990. No, I've got another thing. I wanted to do a hip opener. Yes, this one is nice. This is actually one that I self-practiced a lot in the Kruger. I haven't done that for a while. And then came back to the shape. So you come onto your knees. You might need a block or something. If you have sensitive knees, remember that you can either put like a towel under the knees, or you can fold your mat double. Then you've got nice padding for the back knee. I'm actually going to go the other way, yes, and you can see me better. And then your right foot steps forward, and the foot is on a little bit of an angle there. No, I've changed my mind. Hey, funny, you can see I haven't taught for a while. Confused. So your right foot is a little on an angle. Just see where you want to go. If you're using your block, you can place it under your shoulders here. Relax your left toes. See if your left knee is happy. Relax the shoulders. And now you can stay on your block. You can bring your block lower. Or you can bring your elbows onto the block in whatever height is accessible to you. This is quite a deep opening of the hip. So just see where you go. But we're not there yet. We're still moving into the shape. So whether you're on your hands on the block, elbows on the block, we are now going to move that block to the left. So it's going to be on a slight angle here. It's a bit of a puzzle. I don't think we've done this one before. I really enjoyed it when I was there. So remember, it's a long time that we are here. So maybe you start higher and you can always go lower. That's a bit too strong. I'm on the edge of my mat. Yeah, that's it. So how do you know if it's too strong? If you actually, I started to feel here on the left side that it started to almost cramp up. So it becomes a bit of an effort rather than, you know, okay, there is an edge, but I can deal with it, I can breathe through it. I'm actually going to go on my elbows onto the floor, I prefer. If you are with the elbows on the floor, you can also put your head on something. This is quite strong. So you probably most likely feel it on the front of your left thigh, maybe in the right hamstring and inside of the right groin. The shoulders, the sides. It's quite, it's because this is side bend in the twist and an opening of the hip. My elbows off the mat actually doesn't feel right, so I'm going to keep them on the mat. You don't have to go, you know, remember less is more. That looks good, guys. Awesome. Yeah, just stay. Close your eyes. It's kind of a nice one, but also a very challenging one. So the edge, I don't know, you know how we work with time, and we work with the edge, and we work with a sense of surrender. I feel in this shape, the edge is there quite quickly. Maybe because I took a deeper variation. So if the edge becomes too overwhelming, then just pull out a little bit. Just bring your upper body a little higher. First try to breathe through it, but you know, it needs to stay pleasant, even though it's uncomfortable. Another one of those beautiful dances, pleasant and uncomfortable. Pleasantly uncomfortable, if that even exists. We're halfway. Stay with the breath. Oh, I'm going to come up a little bit. Might actually be the vaccine. My body is talking to me. I think yin is quite good after you've done the vaccine. So it's traveling through your bloodstream. I don't even know if you're allowed to like do vigorous exercise. I didn't even ask. Yin feels good though. Stay there for another, just a little bit more than a minute. And again, with that discerning, that wisdom, what is wisdom? Wisdom we intuitively have, we learn along the way. And trusting your own inner truth. Trusting your own wisdom based on your based on what you know. And there's a lot of unknown out there. So let's just focus on what we know and trust the rest. Okay, let's take 8 more lovely deep breaths in and out. Last 2 rounds of breath, 4 to 6 counts to breathe in. 4 to 6 counts, or even 6 to 8 counts to breathe out. Ay, 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 ay. And then slowly roll back. Now I feel like a granny. You might as well. Maybe just a little bit of a variation of a half split, stretching the leg out, not a full pose, but it's quite nice. And then from there, you might just want to, I wanted to do a shape, but you'll have your back facing me. So let's just bring, let me think. Yes, let's just bring your left leg in front. So you come and sit on your bum. I'll mirror you first. So your left leg is in front. Option is to have the foot on the inside, the foot on the outside, or, which is what I actually wanted to do, a half cow face. So that means that the knees are on top of each other and your foot is next to your hip. Just make sure both sit bones are grounded. So if as soon as you do this, you feel all skew, then just take a step back. And back doesn't mean there's no judgment to that. It's the truth. Your body is telling you what the truth is. So maybe you need a block. Maybe you want to remove some of the flesh of the sit bones. And your belt may come in. Bring the belt around the foot. And then try to sit up straight. So how can I explain this? The movement of, so if you want to press your heart forward, almost like you're curious and you want to like, hey, what's out there? But forward, as if the forward moving and then the shoulders away from the ears. And then you can today, if you want to, just close your eyes. The fingers, because I've got it wrapped around the hands, the fingers may start to fall asleep a little bit, but we'll see when we get there. So rather than rounding forward today, we're teaching our spine that this is upright. That this is an upright position, creating space both in the angle of the hips. I really truly believe that your fascia, your muscle memory, it's very much habitual. So if you sit a lot and your shoulders are always forward, then that's what your body considers to be a normal position. So this actually, even for me, feels a bit awkward. It feels like, whoa, I'm like a statue and I'm like super upright. But that's okay. The fact that it feels awkward means that you're building new muscle memory. That you're actually telling your body this is also an option. And the more you do that, the more that can potentially become your new habits. If the knee in some way, well, I think the knee will be fine. Yeah, if it's up, you'll be fine. I was wondering if you needed another option, but I think we're all good. If the hands start to become a little dead, You can also bring your belt together. So the two ends are together, you hold on to it. I just like the wrapping, it just makes me feel more stable, and I don't mind that it's a bit tight around the hand. Okay, let's bring that breath back in. Where do you feel what? Can you still notice your breath? How slow can you breathe? And even your breath becomes habitual. If it's 4 to 6, can you maybe make it 5 and 7? Or even 6 and 8. Soften the jaw. Have the shoulders maybe, crept up towards your ears, then let them soften away. Heart leads forward, even though the shoulder blades are not squeezing together. So it's not like okay, the chest is open, but the back line now starts to squeeze. It's a broadening. I often refer to the gorilla or the bodyguard, it's that feeling in the chest. I feel my back muscles working hard. It's not so relaxing. I feel a lengthening in the back of the legs, but I feel like almost the mid-back. The muscles are working. They're not used to this position. Those muscles are keeping my upper body upright. Take 3 more rounds of breath here. A very deep breath in, fill up, fill up, fill up, fill up. And a sigh and release. Maybe a little bit of cat clawing in the air. Pretend you've got those stress balls in your hands if you were holding on to your belt. And then you come into a figure 4, but we will go onto our backs. So you can just scoop your hips a little bit forward. Come into a figure 4, and then from your figure 4, you are going to come into, let me reset the timer for us, a happy baby pose. Bring in the belt if you want to. So there's 2 ways. The complicated way is, it's a little bit more, you've got more space. If you want to create a little loop on one side, I'll show the 2 ways. The traditional way is to bring the belt over the feet. This, specifically if you've got really tight hips, if you have a yoga belt, you create 2 loops. So you create 1 loop for the one foot, and then you can even make a little knot for the other foot. And then hold on. It's quite a nice one. Depending on how long your belt is, you have to obviously hold on to that other end. That could be an option. Specifically for men that have, so bring your knees a little wider, Paul. Maybe if you even wider. So the feet, you know, when we are in Malasana squat, when the feet are, like in that squat, that Indian squat, let's say, the feet are quite wide. It's a similar shape. So the other option is to just bring the belt over the feet. But that's why, if your belt is not long enough, the other option is almost nicer, to be honest. If you don't have a yoga belt, you can also create two little loops. 2 little loops for your feet. I'm going to do it today. Doing things differently will give you a different result. Oh, it actually feels quite nice. You can kind of hang on to the belt if you're riding a horse. Oh, the timer, 4 more minutes. So the ankles are stacked above the knees. So from the top, if you would look at yourself from the top and stick a stick from the heel, it will go straight through your lower leg. So the legs are nicely aligned. Trying to find a nice way to put the arms. Maybe on the inside. Depending on the belt, ooh, maybe I found something. I like to place it. Yeah, this is quite nice. But then I'm almost in my old position. Looks a bit weird, but it feels nice. Yeah, that's better, Paul. Nice, Ingo. Send some sunshine this way. I think we're getting some sunshine this weekend. If your pelvis, the back of your hips, let's say, the back of your pelvis, has totally lifted, that your sit bones are pointing up rather than away from you, rather than, let's say, along the floor, then loosen the tightness of the belt and straighten the spine a little bit. So flatten the back of the pelvis back onto the floor. So you feel like your hips are tilting backwards. You know, forward, I refer to as Michael Jackson. That means your pubic bone comes in towards your navel. Now you want to bring your sit bones back towards the mat, back towards the front of the mat. Last adjustment is to maybe tuck your chin a little. Sometimes people have their heads very much back and the chin points up, and the crown of the head is pointing towards the mat. So in that case, lift your head, look at your belly button, and place the back of your head onto the floor. Take a couple more breaths. Let me check our time for us. It's almost stronger with the belt like this. Oh, we've got 2 more minutes, guys. I thought we were further already. So relax into it, surrender into it with your breath, and let's stay still. Let's find that stillness in the body, in the mind, and through the breath. My hips are talking. Ooh. Great news, 3 more breaths. La, 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 la. Ooh, I can tell you I'm happy that we can release. Maybe release your belt. Oh. Hug your knees in, a little wiggle from right to left. And then draw the right knee in. You may use a bolster for a spinal twist with the right knee towards the left side. A block, a pillow, sip of tea. Feel free to scoop the hips. Shimmy your shoulders under. And an option is to turn the head towards the right side, if that's okay for your neck. If not, just leave the nose pointing up. Remember, if you draw the knee closer up towards your arm, it gets a little stronger for the lower back. So you can also just push the knee a little bit away from the chest, to the point even that the hand can't touch it, specifically if you have a bolster or a prop that you can use. Okay, and then once you find your shape, just relax, just be still. Stillness is key. A book I want to read. I want to start reading it. A suggestion from Nadia, actually. Just forgot to order now. It's a very nice book, apparently. I'll let you know once I finish it. Can you hear the sound of your own breath? Can you hear the soft and subtle sounds in your space? Can you hear things that if you wouldn't be still, you would normally not hear? Can you breathe deeper and slower? What can you relax on the next exhale? And often these kind of wisdoms in your inner truth come in stillness, come in meditation, insights on your mat. I also found that being in the Kruger for a week and having that stillness, less distraction, ignited a sense of creativity inside me again. It was nice. It was really nice. So if you feel a bit stuck, for me it helps. It's not the same for everyone, you know, we're all different. But I think that being in nature and switching on the computer, the phone, practicing being, noticing, is beneficial for everyone. And it also indicates, it shows you what is important to you. And then slowly, let's go immediately to the other side. It's an easy transition. Bring the feet to the floor, scoop your hips a little over to the left. And then bring the bolster over to the other side. Reset the timer. Oh, that's me. Reset. Shimmy your shoulders. It always feels so different. Find these asymmetrical shapes fascinating. How you feel differently, I don't know, in different places or tighter. I see I might have misjudged the timer a little bit. So I'll just leave you to later on to do your own shavasana. So if you don't have a timer or anything. So I missed you. I just want to do so many poses with you. Stay with the breath. We want to do everything on the right and the left, but we'll finish it off nicely. Quite a lot of hips and quite a lot of like spinal work today. Can you let the belly rise and fall? Can your body become heavier on the exhale? You just really let it be heavy on the mat, on the pillow. Pretend the body becomes a little heavier. Let gravity just take onto the muscles very subtly. A sigh. Kind of does that automatically. I was preparing the class and I was like, oh, I want to do that one and I want to do that shape and that shape. Enthusiasm, I think, because I haven't seen you for a while. It's been really nice to see you guys. Counting the breath can help you draw yourself back into the body, back into your practice. And then now when I'm thinking about be discerning, be discerning, but without being judgmental. Can we also be discerning in our truth, in our own wisdom, and still be kind? Sometimes, your opinion is important in situations, but it's often how we say things, hey? Non-violent communication doesn't mean no communication. And actually sometimes stillness, the not speaking, is so powerful and so beautiful. It's a dance. Some people feel they want to be heard more. Their voice, their truth, their wisdom is not listened to. Other people overshare. And if there is that judgmental, could be. It's a feeling, I guess. It's an interesting dance. In the connection and the relationship, we are all different. Take 5 more rounds of breath here. And then slowly draw that left knee in, so come onto your back. And do a figure 4 with the left. It is just a transition pose. But we did it on the other side, so you just want to draw the knees in with the left ankle on top of the right. And then you can roll onto the side and just slowly press yourself back up into a seated position. And this time you extend your right leg. We're going to do that half cow. Remember the options. The half cow, you can put a block. You will need your belts. Or you can have the knee pointing up with the left foot on the outside of the right leg or on the inside. Somewhere where you can, this can even demonstrate a little bit what we're trying to achieve with the back. Rather than that rounding, if you hold onto your shin and you kind of pull, that's where you get that lift. You can walk the sit bones a little bit. And now can you, while you put the belt around that right foot, do the same. So it's that lifts. Even removing some flesh from the sit bones can be very useful. So it's a up, it's a broadening to the sides as well as a hard forward without contracting the shoulder blades too much. Close your eyes, breathe. Soften the tongue inside your mouth. Some space between the top and the bottom row of teeth. And breath. Now that you're so upright, your breath can even make your chest more broad, more space, expanding space between the ribs of the rib cage, movement of your diaphragm while you breathe, massaging of your organs while you breathe, which we can't see. It seems like it's total stillness, but there's actually quite a lot of movement through the breath. And the slower you breathe, the more you can notice those subtle movements. Be curious about how the body, how the breath moves the body very subtly. From the outside, you can hardly see it, only if you really pay attention. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Let the breath be your priority. Enjoy the stillness, the serenity, the switching off, the being. What do you feel where? And you let the breath support the stillness, the time, and maybe the edge that presents itself, whether that is physical or mental. And surrender into just being here. Oh, my back muscles are firing up, but more not in like, oh, I'm waiting, I'm lift waiting or something like that. More in like, hey, I'm not used to this position. What is this? This is new. Well, that's why I feel my muscles are kind of discovering. Like, that's interesting. We haven't done that for a while because often we're rounded forwards. And we sit at our desk. And we're on our phones. Almost feel weird and unknown to the body to be so upright. Six more nice deep breaths in and out. Let the full chest, let the belly even fill up with that beautiful new fresh prana, that air, that life force. In through the nose or in through the mouth, out through the mouth. One more deep one in. And release. Okay, guys, I apologize. We are going to be running just a couple of minutes late. But what's a couple of minutes invested in your own well-being? It's your left leg that's going to come forward. So I'm just going to change sides because the wall is on my left side. You might need to block. You might need to double up your mat or put something under your right knee. And take that left foot to the top of the mat, even on the edge of the mat. Yeah, that's it. Bring the block in, high position. When you use a block, make sure you don't let the shoulders like kind of creep up towards the shoulders, like up towards the ears. And then we move the block on an angle. For me, it's on the edge of the mat. When I remember, it was too much to be on the floor. So I'm gonna go onto the elbows. Woo! You don't have to go on the elbows. I'm half Indonesian, so I'm kind of half Asian. So my hips are quite open. So we'll finish. After this one, we've done everything on the right and the left. And I'd really like to invite you to either, do a 5 to 8 minute shavasana, or even a meditative seat can be fine, but lying back. So, I'm doing the timer now, but I'm going to hand over that responsibility to you very soon. But for now, let's just be with these beautiful, quite strong, interesting sensations in our body. Let your breath be there for you. Be discerning. You know what you know. You've experienced what you've experienced. You spend time to reflect, to self-study. It's part of the yoga way of living. And you speak kindly from that place, from the truth, your truth. Doesn't have to be someone else's truth. That's okay. That's okay. We can agree to disagree, but we can be curious about why that other person experienced that differently. There's multiple reasons, multiple layers, each to its own. Well, the world, sometimes in my head, the world is such a beautiful place where people are kind and leave each other to be what they want to be. To explore what they want to explore. We don't have to all be the same. Woof, that would be boring. That would be boring if we would all be the same. Can you soften into the intensity? I know this is intense, so for me it's even intense, and I've got quite open hips. The front of the right thigh, you might feel some opening sensations. And sensations are personal. So yeah, what is a stretchy feeling? What's an open feeling? What's resistance? Just breathe through it. Smile through it. If you can smile and breathe, you're in the right position. Less than half. Stretching beautifully into that right lymph node here on the inside of the groin. Very good for you. Opening in the hips. Oh, it's getting a little strong for me, and that's okay. You know, they can come out just a little bit. You can lift your chest, you can change the block height, do so gently if you need it. If you want to stay, stay. If you want to go deeper, go deeper. But 1 minute to go. Where's my cookie here? Alrighty, we made it. Hands under. Oof. Granny number 2. Crawling over the mat. Oh, wonderful yogis, yoginis, yogis. Grab your blankets, grab your timer. Check if the song that is on is making you feel relaxed and happy, otherwise just skip a couple and then come lie onto your back. Feet as wide as the mat. Settle your hips, maybe lift them. Settle your shoulders, shimmy them. Lift the palms straight up, and maybe today bring the hands even a little bit wider, not next to the shoulder, but just a little bit wider, like really surrendering into the floor here. It's been an absolute pleasure to close this beautiful day together. Karina and Emma, have a lovely girly night. Enjoy your Shavasana. Janice, enjoy your time with your daughters. Paul, have a wonderful evening and stay warm. So good to see you guys. See you next week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Looking forward to it. Namaste.